Ready or not, here we go. I hope y'all boy ready, because it's time for the Bev For Real Show.
Hey everybody, it's time for the Bev For Real Show. Are you ready? Come on. Hey everybody.
Vice Productions.
Are you ready? It's time for the Hey everybody. Hey everybody. Come on. Hey everybody. Hey everybody. It's time for the Bev For Real Show.
Welcome to the Bev For Real Show.
Bev For Real. Bev For Real. Bev For Real. Bev For Real. Her name is Bev, she keeps it real. Where her mission is to heal. She always keeps it real. She always keeps it real. Are you ready? Bev For Real. Bev For Real.
Keep it real.
Oh, and welcome to the Bev For Real Show. We're so excited to have you with us today. Today is our first premiere, our grand episode. We are so excited, and guess what? We're not the only ones. Check this out.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Bev For Real Show. Today, I know I've said it many a times with special episodes, but today is truly one close to my heart. Today, I have my 3 children with me to be on the show. There are going to be times I know when I'll cry. There are going to be times I know when I will smile. But I am so grateful to my children to want to come on to the show today to talk about our lives. I pray that this episode will touch many mothers that are single moms, or mothers that are going through with their children, or mothers that are in relationships and trying to make it right. My children has come to me willingly and want to talk about our life. I'm so honored and blessed to have my 3 children with me today. Stay tuned and watch what happens with me and my 3.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Bev For Real Show. Today, I have 3. Lord, y'all pray for me. Viewers, pray for me. I have 3 of me. Today is definitely a family affair. I have my 3 and me. To my left, we'll start with my oldest one, Teron. To the next one is Stephanie, which is the baby girl. And then I have Robert, which is the next one. So I have me and my 3 amigos with me today. And y'all just pray for me because I don't know what's about to take place. Jeez. Hey, y'all.
Hey, what's up? What's good?
Hello. How are? Now that one knows she can talk, but she's trying to act shy. How are y'all doing today?
Everyone's good. Y'all good?
Bless.
Good.
Bless.
Glad to have my siblings next to me with my mom.
I
This is
know.
not usual for us since we live in 2 different states, so
I know.
today's good.
Yes. I felt like a little kid, you guys, when they would come in. When they said yes, I was like a little girl because it's so hard for me to get my children together at one time. But we do the Zoom, and that's a lot of fun.
Every Sunday morning.
Faithful.
Every Sunday morning.
Faithfully.
If they sleep, they're gonna get up
8 o'clock.
on the dot. I don't miss, do I?
No.
I sleep. So today, my children are with me, and as y'all know, on the Beth for Real show, I do like to keep things real. I have been praying about this, and today I'm opening up myself to the world. I've gone through a lot. Again, I'm an author. The name of my book is called Stormy Weather, Yet I Stand. My children and I have gone through so much in our lives. I had my oldest son when I was 17, became pregnant at 16, and then they're all 4 years apart. And I pretty much grew up with my children. So today I asked them to come on the show with me. So we're going to discuss some things that are going to be touching, but I want my children to be honest. And the reason why is because today I want parents to really understand, even though you go through things in life, you still have to think about your children because they see it and they hear it. And sometimes they won't speak about it until they get older. And when you have that sit down conversation, which we have had, it hurts. Because sometimes we think that as parents, we're doing everything right, and we're not. So with Stephanie and Teron and Bobby with me today is the day we're going to get real. I have prepared myself for this because I asked my children to be honest with them. So we'll start off with all of us growing up, So we'll start with Stephanie. Okay. Then we're going to order, Bobby then. So Stephanie, tell us about you growing up.
I'm Stephanie again, and I'm the baby. And growing up with my mom, it was good. It was really good because she made sure that we stayed busy and keep things up so we wouldn't feel like we're left out on things. So she is really a great mother. Great mother. She make us laugh. Especially when we down, she find ways to bring us back up. So, and I really appreciate them days too. So, yes.
Okay, Robert.
All right. Well, yeah, I can definitely agree with my baby sister. Growing up, you did a lot to make sure that we did not see, or you thought we did not see what was going on. We took a lot of trips as kids. We were always in the best summer camps as kids. And then we moved to Georgia, and I think that's kind of when things took a turn. And more so for me, and I think to Ron, things were a bit challenging for a while. But even through all of that, and the ups and downs that we had, because, we knocked heads, I think, out of all of us, I probably gave my mom the most challenges. But through it all, you still remained an amazing mother and a great mother. So growing up was great. I would not take any of it back. There were, like I said, there were definitely a lot of downs in the midst of all those good times. But I think because of that, all of us turned out the way that we did. And I'm proud of all of us.
And we learned.
Yeah.
A lot.
Amen.
Teron.
Growing up for me, I watched my mom accomplish a lot of things from the bottom, just being a strong woman, doing everything on her own. Never had no father figure around, so my mom was kind of like everything. So I just appreciate everything she did for me and still do. So I think we had a good childhood. Being the oldest, I remember a lot more stuff, but I think we have great lives and we just blessed. Yeah.
Amen.
I'm glad y'all feel that way. Today, honestly, we talk all the time, but today I'm going to hear things I'm sure that I have not heard before, and I'm ready. I've never been afraid to share my story. That's why I was able to write my book. And, I know it's the Christmas holidays coming up, but, I think this is the perfect time for us to celebrate, celebrate in a great way. So I'm going to start with you, Bobby.
Oh.
Yes. I'm going to start with you because you mentioned the part where we had some falls.
Mhm.
We had some falls. And Teron, you can jump in too because, y'all remember.
Yeah.
We're going to go back to childhood.
Okay.
Okay, 'cause when you was a child, we born and raised in New York. So was I. My relationships, even in New York,
Yeah.
3 baby daddies. Just being honest, 3 baby daddies. Challenge, and challenge with, challenges
Yeah.
with all of the fathers. Thinking that I was finding the love, we being honest, and it was challenging.
Yeah.
Bobby, what do you feel about that? From what you can remember as a child?
So I remember always like running to Saran, like to just kind of hide myself from the things that were going on with that. But I always would like ask why, honestly, we weren't enough for you at that time, and why you felt the need to put people or men specifically who clearly we did not care for in front of us.
Right.
And I think what helped us cope with that was the trips, and it was the summer camps, and it was the toys and the shoes, and we were very appreciative of that. And that again, that kind of coded it. But as we grew older and we were able to look back on it, it's still to this day, like sometimes it was like, wow, like we don't feel that way anymore. But growing up, especially watching you put up with some of the things that, as adults, you preach to us not to put up with. So it was challenging. But again, you did, as a Black mother, you did so much to kind of shield us from it. But as kids, we still noticed that. So again, for us, I think that was just something that kind of affected us growing up. And it was a question. And I think that for me, I cannot speak for my siblings, but for me, I think some of those challenges trickled over into my adulthood and the relationship that I've had and the relationships that I've been in since then.
Okay.
And yes, that's true. When I've watched my mom go through what she go through, now I've learned from what she went through and try not to repeat the cycle, because when I was little, it did damage me a lot. Like Robert said, bringing it into your relationship, it kind of, you'll see like, dang, I really do sound like my mama. Like, what wrong with it? No, shut up. I sound like my mama. Like, So I've learned a lot from you, like from every struggles, everything I've learned, and to be the woman I am today because of you. So I'm bouncing off of what Bobby said because it's true.
Right.
It's a generation thing, and it's hard. We got to learn to stop the cycle, because if we continue, I don't want my daughter to continue what I've done. That's why I tell my daughter, don't do what I do. Do something, because I've learned from my mother. I've learned from my mother, and it balanced it out.
Yeah.
So.
But go ahead, Teron, and I'll come in with that. What I understand what y'all saying. For me, I always thought like I love all of y'all unconditionally.
Yeah.
And as long as I knew I had you there, but I was still seeking for love in the wrong places, and I thought about, and I mentioned this even in my book, that Leave It a Beaver family. And it's so amazing because you can have what you say even at a young age, because in the house at the time, even though it's 6 of us, I'm the oldest girl. So I always used to say, I want 2 boys and a girl. So if anyone mess with my girl, she got her brothers.
Baby.
Oh.
I don't even have to say what's wrong? I'm okay.
And God blessed me with the 3 of y'all. So, I'm glad we're really talking, because I didn't know that. So this is good. Teron, what is your feedback on that?
I basically bounce off what Bobby said. It did affect all of us. It made me stronger as a person, because I watched you deal with a lot of stuff you shouldn't have to deal with. And it made you stronger as a person. And a lot of stuff I didn't agree with when I, growing up, kind of put put me in my own type of zone. But at the end of the day, it made us better. It made us come closer together as one.
It has.
Yes, it has.
Nobody's perfect. We all make mistakes. So we gotta live and learn.
Learn it. That's why I say you learn from your mistakes and you try to fix it. Don't repeat it.
Yeah.
You gotta
Break the cycle.
Makes you treat people how you want to be treated too.
Yeah.
You see somebody get done the wrong way, it makes you want to treat the next person
better.
Yeah.
For sure.
Better. And Teron, you are a good man. I tell you that. Mommy taught you very good. But when you bounced off of Mama taught you well on that one.
I tried to be.
You did.
Mama
being his
and
first
daddy.
Yes.
Yeah.
You did good.
Mom and
You know, I stayed busy as a young man. You know I did, but
You learn from it. So.
Yeah. And I'm glad we're talking about that because y'all saw the abuse, both the physical and the mental.
Yeah.
I remember when I went into that deep depression, and I went into counseling, and y'all even had to write that letter to me. I started to bring the letter, but that is too much for me. That would have been a little too much. I mean, I'm coping now, but let's talk about that a little bit. When I went through the physical abuse and the mental abuse, how are y'all feeling? Because we didn't brush it under the table, but we just never talked about it. So let's be honest. Let's talk about it. Go ahead, Steph.
So I was more young, so you kind of kept me at the loop, but I felt like I knew something was wrong with you. Like you'll be happy one minute and be just down for a minute, and I'd be like, "What's wrong with Mama?" But you kept me out the loop because I was the baby, so I really couldn't say, "Oh," I used to be like, "Bobby, what's wrong with Mommy?" He'd be like, "She's okay," and I have to just go off of what he said. And Teron, you okay? He was like, "Mama good, we all right," and that's how I had to go by it. But as being the baby, I couldn't say I physically knew it. I just knew something was wrong with you being my mother. So, yeah.
It was hard. Again, we come from a huge family, so you were always the light of the family. You know what I mean? You usually did all the gatherings. I remember, us having like Sunday dinner and everybody coming over. You never really, again, let us see it. So when the depression hit, I think for me and Teron, we shielded it from Stephanie, but we were older at that point. So we knew what was wrong. And I've always been privy to the medical situations. So specifically, I knew what was going on because, I think you and I at that point were the only ones that had actually talked about you going to counseling, and we talked about you going to see the doctor, and we talked about the pills that you were taking and why you had to take them. And again, I just felt like someone else did something to take another part of my mom away from me. In that time, I feel like I was forced to grow up because we went from having that one parent who played mom and dad to a parent who was there part-time. And it wasn't your fault. You know what I mean? Like, you would literally be in the middle of cooking and check out, and I would have to finish dinner. And I would have to help Stephanie with her homework. And, Teron would come home and make sure we were good, but Teron was out hanging out, you know what I mean? So, like, I think that's, it kind of, that forced me and Teron to grow up, but it was very difficult to watch you go through that because, for us to grow up with you and see the things that we had been through at that point and where we had made it to, and then to kind of watch you fall back down that hill, because again, you let someone in that should not have been in because it looked good and it was wrapped great with that bow. It was hard. It was a difficult time. And I think for me, that's where my transition began. And because I had to step up at home, I began to lash out at school. And that's where those difficulties came in for me at that time.
Lash out.
Did that boy say lash?
My grades were always good.
He ain't lie about that one now. His grades were good.
We'll come back to you in school.
Ooh, in school.
Woo! Lord.
It's
Well,
always
since
the
we
middle
on to
one.
school, let's go ahead and talk about it. You mind?
No, let's go.
Oh, my Lord. So, I didn't even know how I was going to keep a job. I'm going to look straight at the camera. I didn't know how I was going to keep a job. The school would call me every day with Robert. Thank God for the boss that I had. They were like, Beverly, going up to the school. It's Robert.
I love Doc.
Yeah, Doc. I was working for a doctor's office. Yeah. I go up to the school. He done do something at the teacher, y'all. He in the office, looking like I didn't do it. Teachers. And the craziness, you really never got suspended.
No, because my grades were always good. I had A's and B's off the school.
So it's the middle child.
Okay, so again, not justifying it, and it was not right, but because of everything that was going on at that point, for me and especially Tehran, us moving from New York and coming down to Georgia was like a heavy blow. That was hard as kids to go from, everything we knew and all the friends we knew to something that was extremely foreign.
Right.
We would come down here and for the summer, but that was like a weekend. Then we would go back to the big city.
Right.
Like we were leaving the cows and the chickens and everything behind.
Right.
So when we moved, that was hard. And, that's when our first stepdad came into the picture. And that just made it more difficult. And so I didn't lash out at home because I didn't want Stephanie to necessarily see any of that or like pick up on any of those habits. I turned to fighting in school over anything. And, I have a very slick mouth, which part of comes from my mother. So all that just kind of came out at that one time because I didn't feel like I had an outlet to really talk to. I probably could have come and talked to you, but I didn't feel like I could at that time.
Right.
So not being able to necessarily talk to anyone and really express how I was feeling, it came out through forms of anger.
Right. And that's the part that I never did understand because we never talked about that. Because I was like, how do you stay on honor roll, but you stay in trouble?
Honor roll, student government.
Yeah, so I'm like to the teachers, are y'all giving them enough work? And they was like, there's nothing else to give them. Yeah. So, but I'm like, well, something got to be going wrong. Not even thinking that it was home. Not, you know what I mean? Not even thinking that because I felt like I was doing everything right. Tehran, let's hear a little bit from you. You're real quiet over here.
The oldest.
Yeah.
I always had to share with my mom. That's what I feel like. Share with my mom.
Right.
Man, share. So, we just started. I mean, I'd like to fight. That's why I was getting in trouble in school. It was never that.
I was a good child.
It was just, I was frustrated sometimes, So I just stay out of the house, really. Just hang out all the time. Just
so you didn't have to see and hear.
Just be hanging out, I'm on the go.
Right. So you didn't have to see and hear what mom was going through.
Yes,
wow. This
dealt with a lot.
But what was you feeling? That you felt like you had to stay out?
I ain't like some of the circumstances.
Well, like, you ain't got to call no names, but,
I mean, everybody knows.
Yeah.
The world don't know.
Right.
If you know, you know.
I ain't like your husband. I had to go.
Yeah. Control.
I had to get up out of there.
Yeah.
Control it for me.
That was hard.
Go to grandma's house.
That's where he went, and you lived with grandma.
Yeah. Shout out to grandma.
That was. I think that was difficult because at that point,
baby,
we were old enough to actually defend you.
Yeah.
There were a few times where we defended you.
So jumped on the man, y'all.
I mean,
but they was keeping it real. They would be, and they would never want to call brother.
Oh, he's the last person on my list. I promise you.
No.
Don't call brother.
Never call him, no matter what, unless it's real deal. I won't call him.
No,
he the last.
They never. So with Tehran, because of the living situation that we were in, but I felt like I was stuck. Tehran was just like, Mom, listen, I can't hang. I can't deal. Can I go stay with grandma? That was very hard to, yes, because,
It's all good. It's all good.
look how we are now. So.
I know. But the thing of it is, the thing of it was, like, I never really wanted to put anyone before y'all. But when Teron moved out, that was like a part of me died. And I wanted him to come back home. And he didn't want to come back to the situation, but it was like, how do I get out? You know what I mean? I want to get out and just don't know how. And Teron, that was so hard for Mommy to have you not with me and be my oldest baby. That was hard. And I knew it was wrong. I wanted to run, grab all of y'all and run. But where was I going to run to? So I tolerated a lot mentally. And there were times where it was physical as well. So I knew this was going to be hard, y'all. But, there's nothing like having one of your children leave because of a situation that you don't know how to get out of. And it's never because Mommy was trying to put any of y'all second. I really was stuck.
That was hard.
It was hard. It was hard to have Teron come sometimes, and then sometimes he wouldn't come at all. And then you left.
And then you left me.
Yeah. That was hard for me more so because no matter who was in our lives, Teron was always my dad, my hero, Batman and Robin, the Goon Squad. So when he left, that was hard. And I think that was my sophomore year in high school. So then I became the only protector for her.
Yeah.
And I dealt with it until it became physical for us.
Yeah.
And then my senior year. With him. Mm-hmm. And then my senior year, I moved out.
Yeah.
And that was hard. For me, that forced me to grow up way quicker than I think I possibly ever should have.
Right.
I was a senior in high school. I was going to school full time, and I was working full time to pay bills in my own apartment with 2 other roommates. Yeah. So again, we're blessed because of those circumstances. But for parents out there who think that you guys are doing the right thing, I think that, we should learn that it's okay to have this open table conversation with your children at a young age, because those moments that you think are okay for us really aren't.
Right.
And they kind of help shape and mold who we wind up being as adults. We were blessed to have gone through that with a praying mother and a praying family, but other kids are not. And, when you look at some of the suicide rates in kids right now, a lot of it is because of bullying, but some of it is because of what they're watching their parents go through. And I think it's important that we have these conversations.
Absolutely. And with that, we'll be right back.
Bad for real. Bad for real.
So when we first decided to do the show, which God actually showed Miss Bev years before she even met me, that, this is what she was going to be doing, this show. And God revealed that there's going to be somebody that is going to be a huge part, real instrumental in, helping her put the show together and all of that good stuff, which was me. So fast forward, she meets me. Some time passed before we even start talking about the show, a couple of months. And when she brought the idea about the show and how God revealed it to her and how God is saying, I'm the person and this, that, and the third, immediately when she said that, it was almost like electricity. Like I felt it run through my body, and it was just like God just started putting all these different ideas and different things in my head. And that's really how the Bev For Real show came to be. Now, about the theme song. So we was on the phone talking, bouncing different ideas, and she said, we have to get a catchy theme song. And immediately when she said that, the concept came into my head.
Bad for real, bad for real.
And the concept was something real regal, like the 1920s jazz scene, Harlem, New York, horns, almost like a doo-wop type sound. That's what I was thinking in my head. And it's funny because, Miss Bev is from New York. Didn't know that at the time. She loves jazz music. Didn't know that at the time. So it's all God for real. I called up one of my friends, Mike Stone. Shout out to you, man. I told him I got this song that I want to record. So we got together. I played the concept for him, and we came up with the music together. And my other good friend Darius Starks, a killer on the saxophone. He came through, laid some horn tracks. I laid down the vocals.
Bad for real, bad for real.
And we made some magic in that studio. I only had the bad for real, bad for real. I didn't have all the other words. And back in some years ago, I tried my hand at writing lyrics. I sucked. I didn't see myself as a songwriter, none of that. So we was all three of us sitting there in the studio just trying to come up with the verse. What is it going to be? And God gave it to me. Her name is Bev. She keeps it real, where her mission is to heal. And that's it. We went with it. We recorded it. We played it for Miss Bev, and she started screaming, crying, carrying on. It was funny, but we knew it was right.
Bad for real, bad for real,
Miss Bev would say how, she would go to the store and, random people will walk up to her. You look familiar. I recognize you. And then they start singing the song, or the song was real catchy. Like, it's real catchy. And I'm glad it's getting good feedback from everybody. This is only the beginning for the Bev For Real show. So stay tuned, y'all.
See, you always chilling, and it's always them too. This is all the time. It is always. And me and Sharonda sit still.
I just had to come and fix you. That's why you was able to sit still, woman.
And welcome back. So we left off with Robert on moving out the house. So now the only one really is left is you, Stephanie. So tell me how you felt after both of your brothers were gone.
I felt like the two important men in my life just left me. I was hurt, but I knew that whatever went on, it got thrown on me now. So it just like, if whatever you was going through, I was going through it too, because it was just me. So I had to, when you were crying, I was there. When there was days that you didn't want to get up and do stuff like that, I was like, Mom, come on, let's go get up and stuff, and I'll make you breakfast. I took care of you too.
You did.
So that's probably why I got that mama mentality going on.
Yeah. Yeah. But you did. You guys did. Well, I'm really learning so much from y'all right now. Like, a lot of things are coming out that mommy, like, we talked about some of it, but just to see how y'all really, really felt. Wow. This is something. It's really, and I hope it's healing for all of us. I hope it is healing for all of us. Because I do remember plenty of times when I had somebody in my life. And, and I knew, I don't know if y'all knew then, but it's sad when you have a mother, right, single mom, and then she has someone to come in her life, and they're taking up space. I'm just gonna be real with it. They're really taking up space, and if you love me, you're supposed to be able to love my children the same way. But I wind up doing all Christmas and putting both names on it for many years until I'm starting to really see, wait a minute, I'm getting tired of this. And it's time that I be honest with myself and my children. And I did.
I remember that one Christmas, baby. That Christmas to
huge Charlie Brown
to the ceiling,
the tree
to the ceiling.
We
I'm
had to
talking
cut
about
the
gifts
top of the tree
too.
because we couldn't get it. Like it kept leaning.
It was a true Charlie Brown tree. It was huge, but the back was lopsided.
Yeah.
But they wanted this tree, so we got the tree. Yeah, it was the biggest tree we've ever had.
Biggest tree.
The biggest tree. And talk about what y'all had under the tree. Like the gifts was from the wall
From the ceiling all the way to the.
It was crazy. The gifts went like all around the tree. They went up the wall, and then they skipped the fireplace, and they were like gifts behind. And I remember us being upset because we saw like our cousins' names. We were like, "Wait a second! Like, why they gifts over here?"
I mean,
but
all the family members had
it was
gifts.
just a good year financially for us, and you had just got everybody gifts. We got everything we asked for and more that year. Like we had new systems and train tracks and
I'll never forget that Christmas.
doll houses and clothes and shoes. And, we had everything that year.
Trying to be sneaky, poke holes in
the gifts. Look, sending Stephanie downstairs to check the box because she's the smallest. So,
Mommy,
now mind y'all, I would hide the gifts in my room,
so she thought,
and said, "Don't go in my room."
Yeah.
I was in there faithfully shaking boxes. What's this?
And it was Stephanie, because Stephanie would come back and she would be like,
"Hey, you got
Teron,
Nintendo.
You got da-da-da-da." Like, Bobby, you got the Super Nintendo this year.
I saw them rap it.
When they get
I
older.
heard them rap it. I heard them rapping it in there. Well,
Hide and go seek was fun as kids, and we happen to play it more during Christmas than any other time of year. So.
Ain't this something? We get the truth out. Wow. Okay. All right. I mean, you grown now.
I can't say it was never Teron, but Teron did used to set us up to go look for the stuff.
No, not set us up. Not set. No. Hold that up.
Teron would set y'all up?
Hold on. No, they didn't set us up. They set me up because I was the baby girl, and I would go, "Hey, Mike, what you doing?"
You wasn't gonna get in trouble.
I did. I'm not gonna fry. I didn't get in much trouble as y'all two did, but I was like, "Hey, what you doing?" And then you'd be like, "Yeah, I'm gonna be rapping again. What you want, girl?" Nothing. You got that Nintendo in there. Teron, brother, what you say you wanted? Brother, what? Oh, she got it, brother. Don't worry about it. It's in the bag.
I remember that Christmas clear as day because I remember the Christmas before that I had no money.
Yeah.
And I went to...
Well, that was my fault. That was... All right, y'all. So rewinding the Christmas before that.
Right, we're going to go back.
When we first moved to Georgia, again, it was not easy for me and my brother. And, Teron's the laid back one.
Very.
Stephanie is definitely like the mom and the firecracker. But I'm like tick tick boom. So
boom boom.
When we first got to Georgia, I showed out, and my mother would always threaten to send me back to my dad, and I would be like, "So I don't care."
No, let's be real with it. I'm gonna go live with my father. I said, "Okay, you said it one more time. I'm gonna send you right where you need to go."
Well, I said it one more time at about 10 o'clock in the morning, and
I had his plane ticket.
3
I
o'clock
called
that
his
afternoon,
father.
I was on my way to New York.
Okay. Told his father to be at the airport, or he'd be sitting there by himself.
So the Christmas
and Teron, wait a minute, Teron and Steph like, "No, Mom, you take a brother." Yup.
I was devastated.
Let his daddy go up. Let him go up there with his daddy, and let his daddy fix him.
I did for about a year. But the
then
Christmas,
I start getting letters. "Mommy, please forgive me. I want to come home."
All right, enough is
Go ahead.
enough. All right,
Just saying.
enough. I came back. But because of that, you guys spent everything you had to come and get me from New York that year, and you know, our Christmas, I was the Christmas gift that year to my siblings. But even then, like, I remember even then, you went to, like, the Dollar General, Value City, the Value City when we had it, and you bought as many little dollar toys as you could.
Sure
so we
did.
still had,
It was
like,
content.
G.I. Joes and Barbies, and it was still, like, it wasn't the best Christmas that we were used to, but we still had a good Christmas that year. And I was home, you know? So I was
No,
back.
but I remember.
He was a Christmas
I was the gift, baby.
I remember Teron opening his gift, and he was like, he didn't know I heard him. Stephanie said, look at this white doll, baby. She ain't got no hair. And Bobby goes, a Smurf.
I did get that Smurf that year. I was high.
What am I doing with a Smurf? So I come around the corner. I said, y'all like it? Yes, mommy, this is so much fun.
We learned to humble ourselves
humble.
still at
We were
the same
humble children.
time. Or we might have an attitude, but we humbled. We played with our little doll baby that had no hair.
And me and
Right.
Teron
And his
played with
G.I.
Joes a
Joe.
little bit.
You
Yeah,
know?
right.
Hours. We was good.
Hours and hours.
Hours and hours. One thing I can say, you know, except for the one time, you know, I remember when we moved to South Carolina when y'all were younger. Do y'all remember that?
Me and Teron do. I don't know Stephanie does.
Stephanie was the
She was a
baby.
baby.
Yeah,
She was the
baby.
baby.
She was like 1, maybe 2 at that time.
Yeah, we were still living in New York, and that was, this is how my book, Stormy Weather, Yet I Stand, started. When we lived in South Carolina. We were still in New York, but I had a settlement come in, and we moved to South Carolina because, again, I was trying to run. I did a lot of running, running for men. He's a traveling child. I just pack him a book bag and he gone. But and always wind up back, and I'd be like, well, I thought you were gone.
He was the child that you put in the car after he howled all day and he was quiet.
We don't even talk about that.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yes, he was the hollering baby. The hollering baby.
Ooh, boy.
Ooh. Teron, tell us how he used to cry. Go ahead.
Well, for hours, I just
But-
felt like sharing rooms.
But I would be like, and he don't, shut up, Robert, shut up.
Wow. So this is where we're going. So, would you like to tell the world what Teron used to play with as a child?
Go ahead.
Behind the couch?
Go ahead.
Eating grease and playing with grease?
That's where your, that's,
No.
that's where Martin getting it from, you remember?
No, face full of grease. Behind the couch playing.
Loaded. Green
And what
grease.
did you used to play with as a child, young lady?
What?
Miss, I couldn't keep a pamper on because...
That was not as a baby. What am I
Whoa,
supposed to
they bring it out real
Stop
slow.
on it. Oh, he got mad.
That was very
Because
low.
we,
Flag.
right.
Flag on the play.
Mad because you hollered.
Y'all see what I did with it? Wow, y'all went way there.
I mean,
Y'all had to do me like that, though.
but
What?
we have to be real.
We weren't
We
talking
are
about that type of
for
trouble, though.
real.
But it came, the way it came out, it was kind of how, it was like, oh, that was funny. Throw that in there. He said it in there.
This is why I love when y'all get together. I love it because we just cut up like this all the time when we're together. Even when we on Zoom.
Seriously.
Yeah, we do.
We cut up, and it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. But I was talking about when we moved to South Carolina, and I ran out of money. And remember, y'all, we didn't have nothing to eat.
Yeah.
And the lady next door,
So did she use her electricity?
you remember that?
We were doing electricity from her during the day until her husband came home. And then at night, it was filling the tub up halfway with cold water, boiling the other half with warm water, and
From the microwave.
lots of nights with tuna fish and candlelight there for a while.
Yeah.
I think that's when we really started to bond though. Like, although that was an experience that, again, I know no parent wants to see their kids in. You made it fun. Like we like turned candlelights into games. Like we would sit around and I remember we played like Trouble by Candlelight, Uno by Candlelight. So even in the midst of that traumatic experience, you still made a way for us to feel at some sort of ease about it. So
what are you thinking about that, Tom?
I agree. Made it happen.
Yeah.
Nothing made it something.
When you're a mother, you make it happen. You got no choice. You make it happen. So
I remember when Grandma came and knocked at the door.
Yeah.
Do you remember? And she took us back to New York, and there we stayed for a long time. And then back into another bad relationship. That was the one with Tehran.
that was that one, but
Ooh. This one Tehran really didn't like. And the whole thing had to get his tonsils removed or climbed up the ladder. And I said, don't climb on a ladder. Hit the floor. They must have laughed at him for days.
Oh, weeks, months, years. We still laugh at
On the ladder. I was like, why would you go up a ladder? Boom. And these three here, weak.
you can't do that like that in front of us.
That's when we were upstairs playing and Teron was outside and that fool set the kitchen on fire about trying to make French fries. Do you remember that?
Yep.
The ambulance. Fire trucks.
Yeah, everybody.
Everybody.
Kitchen on fire. That was some grease for some French fries.
Couldn't even cook. What was I choosing, y'all?
It's life.
You were doing what you thought was best. And I think, now that we're older, we see that. So.
And you want to be happy yourself too at the end of the day too. And a lot of parents and moms, they want to be happy too. So it's a way that you have to find that balance with your kids and respect them too at the same time.
Right.
Yes.
So do y'all feel I was hard on y'all at any point or?
Yeah.
The boys can say that. The girls, I mean, not the girls. I can't say that.
Definitely for the oldest.
But the oldest get the rough.
Well, that was the time I told you to take the trash out, and you gonna tell me I'm tripping.
At that age.
No, they didn't go down the stairs. I mean, I was like, Tehran, I need for the trash to go out, son.
Him and the trash went down the stairs.
No, we was living in Marietta. There was a straight door.
Oh no, I'm talking about Old Forge. I don't know if we're gonna talk.
Well, I said, Tehran, take the trash out. You gonna tell me I'm tripping? And the next thing I know, I was Bruce Lee in the air. I'm like, whoa! Tehran in the chair went back, and I was like, when you get your breath together, get up and take the trash out. And
you wonder where I get it from.
Stephanie, clean your room. It's clean. Looking under the bed, like, what in the world is under the bed? All the clothes, books, paper. But the bed was made.
But was there anything on the floor that you see? It was clean. It might have been stuffed, but it was clean. Now I'm getting the heat back
so
because my kids do it now. So I be looking like, I know daggone well you got that clothes in your bed. So that's why I said it's a lot that I get from my mama, making my kids think I'm a jokester because she makes us laugh. She could be yelling at us and be mad in the mud. And she'll say something like, what she'll say? I'm like, yes man, don't yes man me. I'm gonna give you this. I'm like, dang, we can't even say yes man. But it's funny. It's funny. It's funny. You're a funny mom, but in a strict funny way.
Yes.
You always made it funny. Yeah. We could not. If we laughed in your face, we had to be like.
You had to. Outside of her, because she grew up more so in Georgia. But you had to be rough. You were a single mom raising two black boys in New York. Like that was not easy.
Yeah.
And
no, it wasn't.
You had to be tough, but you was so tough for a while.
Yeah. I had to be.
You're the best mom.
I think it. And you know one thing I love about y'all? Y'all always tell mommy that.
Yeah.
Y'all really do.
You are. It's not easy being a single mother, let alone a single young mom of 3, and then you add the fact that you're Black in the mix of that. You know, for us as kids, watching you have all 3 of us, our dads not really be present, start at the bottom of Toyota, work your way to the top of Toyota. You know, you did everything to give us the best life that you could. So again, like I said earlier, even though we went through some of the things we've gone through, we can never discredit the fact that you are definitely the world's greatest mom. So, yeah.
I love y'all. I love y'all so much. Man, this is really good. You know, I'm feeling like a part of me has heaviness because I didn't know these things, but a part of me is feeling, I think I have 3 beautiful children. And
Girl, you don't see all this up here? Hello.
Period. And the crowd say,
Y'all don't want me to sing that song?
don't
right?
do it. We were just playing. Don't do that.
That was not a segue
That
for
was
that.
not.
It was not.
I'm
So you have 3 beautiful children?
Yeah.
I do.
Thank you.
I do. Thank y'all.
Thank you.
I thank y'all for being there with mommy and understanding. I know it couldn't have been easy on any of y'all because I was always mom, you know, and the only one there. But, you know, for me, even though I knew I was giving y'all everything, including love, it really hit me on my very last marriage. It hit me when I went through so much with that marriage to watch y'all have to fight with him physically. Literally.
And your youngest. It wasn't even your oldest. It was your 2 younger ones.
Jumped on the back and no, because it was always don't tell brother.
Yeah, no, we didn't
That's
call.
why
We
we
called
did.
Teron afterwards, and even then, it was like,
He was mad. He was mad. He'd be mad. Like, why you ain't go? But we know our reasons. We know.
Right. Right. But wow. And that was the time I was actually in the hospital on my deathbed.
Yep. Yeah, got surgery and everything.
And I got sick and I was in the hospital for a month and a half.
I thought we were gonna lose
Yeah.
it.
It was like I did everything I can.
And for a while, it was honestly just me and Stephanie at the house. Again, another situation where we had to
Take care of ourselves.
and grow up quick. So I mean, Teron would come like on the weekend
And check on
spend the weekend with us and check on us. But you know, making sure we got to school, making sure we ate.
Yeah, get to school and driving my new car, y'all. I'm in the hospital on my deathbed. That boy done snuck my car.
I was waiting on that.
Woo, Teron, go ahead and tell the viewers what you saw.
That
What in the heavens? What you see, Teron?
Everybody telling my brother got a new car. He got 2 new cars.
That's what he was telling me.
He got 2 new cars. He riding good. Hanging out with some of my friends. I see my mom's car drive by. He driving it. No driving license. No nothing.
Leaning with the sunroof.
Sunroof.
All the windows down.
You had to
Music bumping.
Going to work.
And school.
Hey, again, I had to be an adult, so I felt like I should do adult
He
things.
did. I promise you, he felt that way.
I dropped Stephanie off at school.
He did.
I made sure she got home from school. I had to drive to the grocery
No
store.
driver's license.
I had a permit. I didn't have no driver's
Thank
license.
God I was
had a
little and I
permit.
didn't know no better. I couldn't get in trouble.
But I just want y'all to know that they did come visit me in the hospital.
In the car, in her car too. Promise.
And being so
Was
innocent.
it?
And I couldn't even,
We went to go see her in the car.
I was so weak, I couldn't even talk.
Yeah.
I couldn't even
She
comb
didn't
my
know.
hair. I mean, I had lost so much weight. I was so thin. And when I would try to cry, all I could do is, and no more, I had no more tears.
Yeah.
I had no more tears. And I never knew what y'all were going through at home fighting this man. And I never knew that. I never knew any of that. All I knew was I was going to try to fight to live, to get back to my babies. Because my prayer was always, Lord, let me live to see my 3 babies grown and have their own family. So when I look at y'all today, I still think about how blessed I am that I'm here
Grandkids
God,
and all.
You got grands.
grands and all. God
Yeah,
granted
great
that.
grands.
Yeah. 7 beautiful
Yeah.
grandchildren. 7. Yeah. So with that, we'll be right back.
If you haven't done so yet, please go to our YouTube page, like and subscribe and share.
Y'all like to talk about to close out?
What would you like to talk about?
I'm gonna
Talk
let
about
y'all
it now.
choose. Talk about it now.
We're talking about the ex.
Let's talk about it now.
We can talk about it now. Everybody know? Okay. All right. Y'all ready? Let's do it. We on? The whole time.
Not the whole time.
Yeah, we already know what's coming. We already know what's coming. Welcome back. Welcome back. What we're going to do is talk about our nouns, where we are now. First and foremost, I really want to say to y'all from the bottom of my heart how much I love y'all. And mommy want to apologize to y'all and right in front of the whole world. And I want y'all to know that I love y'all dearly. I'm blessed. I wouldn't take back any of the things I've gone through with your fathers. The beatings, the disappointments. If I could have that and have my 3 babies all over again, I would do it. I would do it. I would never switch. I would take those beatings to have to be blessed with y'all. And I love y'all. I thank y'all.
Love you too.
Love you too. Love you more. Love you more.
Yeah, I would do it again. I want you guys to know that even though y'all went through things and I thought I was doing things right, the love for y'all that I had then and still today is still the same. I thought I was doing the right things, and you guys were right. I was searching for love, a different love, in all of the wrong places until I got tired. There's so many women out there right now that are going through the same thing that I've gone through, feeling stuck. How do I leave? What do I do? I'm trapped. I'm tired of these beatings. I'm tired of being talked down to. You're nothing. Who wants you with 3 kids? You'll never be anything. You ain't nothing. You're no good for just being in the bed. I'm just being honest. It's the bed for real. These are the things that mommy heard. And I would go in the room and close the door, and then go in the closet and close the door to try not to let y'all hear. And, and I'm sorry that y'all had to see mommy go through the up and down of the roller coaster. And really, I didn't even know y'all was really seeing it because I thought I was hiding it. But obviously I wasn't hiding it good enough to where now all of y'all have gone through things in the relationships that y'all have gone through or as of today. I do want to say this as well. The reason why mommy was hard on y'all on sometimes, because I never wanted y'all to go through what I went through.
We know that, Mom.
Tried to shield it and hide it from y'all.
Yeah.
And, being a big part of knowing your worth. Don't settle for less. You're better. You're greater. And not want to tell y'all everything. And y'all still things that y'all don't know. But that'll come another day and another time. But, I give God the praise of who y'all all become. When I realized was the very last time that I was in a really bad relationship, that after we got out that house, and we got out that house fast and
Swift.
Listen.
5 bedroom, 3 bathroom, 2 car garage, big. We was out that house in an hour. And I left the toilet tissue in the middle of the floor. If you watch, and I did leave that for you because that was saying, "Here's your butt back to you." But we won't go there. But anyway.
We were quick. We was out that house.
We was out the house. We had how many people moving us out?
In and out.
An hour. And he didn't know.
All of us, like all your sisters and your brother-in-laws and
everybody.
Your little brother, me.
Y'all was sitting. The U-Haul was sitting up the road.
Yeah.
But that's when I got tired because that's when the disrespect was coming in of bringing women into my home, and they were calling me, telling me what my bed looked like and my bathroom and my children's room and what was in my refrigerator. That was the last straw for me, and I couldn't do it no more. And I did everything right to try to love someone that wasn't loving me back. And that's when I learned my worth. And when we left and we got in a safe place, and I had that last real hard cry, and the Father had said, "You had the love all the time. You had me, but you had your 3 children." And when I looked at y'all, when we got in that place and we sat down, y'all remember the cry? I mean, I must have cried like a 2-year-old because I was able to breathe, but I had my babies together again. All of my babies back. And that was the best and the greatest feeling that I had in my entire life. Really, I didn't have to run no more. I had my children back. And we just, from there, went nothing but up for us. It went up, but it's been a struggle, a battle. I thank God, because you know what? Things could have really went bad. It could have went left. Like a lot of parents that have gone through what I went through. Children are on drugs. They're in the street, in and out of jail. And, I really did pray and ask God to help me. And there were times that I really did try to take my life. I tried to take my life. There was one point I had the pills in my hand. And my oldest granddaughter, that's why I call her my Juju, came in the room when I had the pills and the water. And she came and said, "Gana." And it snapped me back to realize I could have took my life and left my children in pain again.
It's okay. Okay.
Yeah, boo.
Sorry.
When you learn to love yourself, it's a process.
Yes, it is.
Because there are days, I still got an up and down, but when I get down, I can call my babies. What you want, woman?
Listen, because you only want nothing.
But
I be like, your grandma call, your mama calling. She don't want nothing. Go ahead and answer that phone. She just want to see y'all faces.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
And there's days that I need just that. And I go through it because I think about what I put y'all through. Mommy put y'all through a lot. And yet y'all still love me.
You made it stronger, mama.
Yeah, being this together.
A lot of children don't even want to deal with their parents once they get older and realize, but I'm so blessed. I'm so blessed.
Yeah.
I'm in a happy place.
My God. And we blessed to have you too.
Yeah.
We blessed to have
Definitely.
you. You've been a blessing to us. Yeah. All the way.
I love y'all. My 3 amigos. Me and my 3.
Musketeers.
Yeah. I love you guys.
Love you too.
Man, thank y'all for being honest today. I know that wasn't easy, for y'all either to be able to talk about our stories and, you know, our life is like opening up to the world. And I'm to the point in my life that I don't mind sharing my life because I believe my life is going to help someone.
It will. It definitely will. There's a lot of moms out there who are having a hard time, especially because of the pandemic and everything. So,
Yeah.
It's definitely.
So I'm glad. And I know it's not easy for you as a mom,
No.
as a mommy.
Yeah.
Either.
But I've learned, but I've learned from you. I've learned a lot from you. So the way I teach my kids now is because of you. So that's why I'm really appreciative of you. And thank you for having us.
Yeah.
Shoot.
Yeah, it's a blessing.
Yeah.
It's a blessing. It's a blessing. Sometimes you don't see the blessing in the moment, but when you can step back in the future and look back and realize the blessing, that's where the key is. So, again, we may have gone through a lot, but you have 3 very strong children because of that. So,
very strong.
No nonsense kids.
It's plenty of times I call my mom and tell her, I'm sorry. She's like, why you sorry?
Yeah, baby.
I was like, because I remember what I did when I was little. I'm so sorry. All the time.
Yeah.
My kids will repeat it. I'm like, did I do it? Mom, did you hear that little girl?
Yeah.
And having a teenager, Lord Jesus, it's a step. It's a step. So, yeah.
No, and then you be calling me Ma. I'm like, oh, didn't I tell you when you have your kids that they're going to do y'all just
so
like
sorry.
y'all did me?
I tell the world that I'm sorry.
Can I share the part with the candy, what y'all did to me? I mean, let's talk
You know
about
what?
something
Go
that's
ahead.
really fun.
Matter of fact, yes, that's a good thing.
Yes,
go ahead.
let's
Tell
go ahead and
about
talk
I'm gonna
about
look at
this.
I'm gonna look at the camera. Hello, people out there. These 3. So I used to have to hide candy. So my favorite candy was the Kissies with the almond. I'm at work all day. Actually, it was a good day because I didn't get a call from the school. That was a good day.
You were in New York then still.
No, we was in Georgia.
We was living in the seasons.
In Georgia.
Okay, yeah.
So I took my Hershey's candy and I hid it in the bottom of the refrigerator and covered with a whole bunch of fruits. Yeah, because I would like them cold.
That sound like mine.
What do we get it for work?
You go to this one house, he'd be like, chocolate anyone?
Right. He is a good host.
I'm like, oh, these look like the Kisses on me. Like I
He's
used
a
to
good
have.
host.
Is
You
my
only walk
Kisses
in the
on
door.
me? Chocolate. So I had my candy, hid it, came home. Oh my goodness, it's like I was tasting them all the way home. I go in the refrigerator and I was like, okay, well, maybe I didn't put it on that side, I put it on this side. Well, maybe I didn't put it on that side, maybe I put it in the freezer. Well, they weren't in the freezer. So I'm calling the 3 of them. Now, everybody knows when their mama's upset, they don't even call the right name. I was like, Stephanie, Bobby, Teron, y'all know I'm talking to y'all.
I try to ignore it.
They
I was like, she
line
want one of
up.
us, so if somebody get up, we ain't all got to go.
They line up. Did y'all see my Hershey's? No. No. I know I bought Hershey candy. Don't be laughing. We don't have no candy. I said, okay. All right. Y'all don't know who had candy, huh? Well, let me go in my room and pull out my best friend.
Big Blue.
Big Blue. That's what that was. Now y'all gonna tell me I'm gonna go in the room.
Oh, Bobby did it. Teron, it wasn't me.
Yep.
Mommy, Stephanie said that you said that we can have one.
Yep.
Stephanie said what? Well, that's what Stephanie said. Stephanie said.
See how but I blamed it on them too, but they still got me in trouble. I still the one that said. And I did. I'm not gonna tell the story. I probably did.
And no problem, you did. Stephanie said that you said
that we can have
one.
So I know somebody else is going.
But what happened to the bag?
The whole bag was gone.
But I said one though, right?
But you was creeping downstairs more than me and Teron though, so
you snitched it on me.
Put that out there.
I could never have nothing with the 3 of y'all.
Well,
No chips.
But I feel
speaking
that
of-
now, though, so don't feel bad.
Yeah, Stephanie has that now. So speaking of your Hershey's almonds, we are very proud of you and everything that you've accomplished and where you are now. Even taking us out of the mix for a second, you know, as a woman going through the things that you went through, it was not easy. And through the face of adversity, you still stand tall. You've turned around, and you've created a platform to start speaking on it so other women don't have to go through that, from starting with your book, and then WADA, which you talked about growing up, and now the Bev For Real show, which a lot of people doubted. You know, for a second you thought the vision was shaky, and you just trusted God and you trusted the path and the things that He laid out for you. So we know that this is a full season for you, and we're getting ready to wrap up the first season.
Oh my goodness.
So we just want to present you with a little thank you token.
Oh my
from us
goodness.
to
I
you.
wasn't prepared.
You're not supposed to be, woman.
I want to let you know we
Think I
appreciate
passed
you. Yeah, we want to let you know we love you and appreciate what you've done for us. So
Got past your mind.
Go, girl.
So we felt bad about that bag that we ate when we were kids, and felt like
And
now
that's
would be a good time.
But that was funny how you brought it up.
Throw it out for the people at home. We felt like now would be a good time to replace the full bag.
I still want one.
Please.
You know we're gonna get at least one this time. And Stephanie said that it was okay.
You guys are the bomb. And iconic.
So I am the entrepreneur of the bunch, and I have started a candle line called Iconic Creations. Yes, this is a selfless plug. You guys can find me on Facebook and Instagram at iconic_creations, IKONIC_KREATIONS, for information on the candles and the rest of my products. So I threw one in there. My mother is in love with lavender and vanilla, so I've created a twist based off of her called Lavender Bliss, and that's what she has over there.
It smells so, I can't wait to get back to the house. I cannot wait. And I got a beautiful card. Should I read it now?
Yes, you can.
Yes, I can.
Yes. Do your thing, do your thing.
You did it. Wow. It is so much easier to dream of the future you want than to make it happen. But you took it one day at a time, pushed yourself, and stayed strong. So proud of you. And each one of y'all wrote something. I'm going to let y'all read what y'all wrote to your mommy. Yeah. Yeah.
So congrats, Mom. I love you. You're the best mom. Love you forever.
And I said, I'm so proud of you, woman. Keep up the great work, you know. Keep doing what you're doing. I'm very proud of you. I love
Normally
you.
I have the paragraph, but I kept it short this time. So I said, Mom, we are so proud of you for reaching and accomplishing your dreams. The sky's the limit. Love you.
I love y'all too. You know, with that, we'll be right back. Y'all are the best.
The Bev For Real Talk Show would like to thank the following sponsors. If you would like to become a sponsor or have your commercial aired during the show, please email bevforrealshow@gmail.com or call 929-286-3513.
Hello, everyone. I just want to share a few words with you of encouragement to those who have watched my show and those to watch it as it comes. When you have children of your own, be careful, be wise. Your children grow up. As children, they see and watch and hear everything that we do. As you can see on this show today, my children were able to tell me how they feel. Now, we've had conversation, but things came out today that I didn't even know. But I thank God for them. They were bold and had the courage and was willing to share our story. So in other words, what I'm saying to you, your children are watching. They hear. How we raise our children is how they're going to be when they get older. As you can hear what my children said, what they saw me go through affected them in their lives as they got older. Some of the things wasn't so great with them for their relationships. And then some things was a blessing because they learned the lessons that I went through of trying to help them to avoid. So I say to you, once again, if you have children, please watch and say what you do. When you know better, you do better. And I thank God that I'm here to talk about it today. And we are coming to a close for this season. But guess what? We'll be back. We will be back with some great things, some great surprises. The guesses I can't tell you in advance. But I assure you, you won't be disappointed. Thank you for those that gave donations throughout the seasons. Thank you and kudos to those that followed us from the beginning until now. Thank you for just being a part and subscribing to the Bev For Real Show. This show couldn't happen without you, and we greatly appreciate you. And to Vice Production, I thank you. You are the best of the best in my eyes and heart. I know that if it wasn't for you, we wouldn't be here. But listen, you guys, stay tuned. We'll be back soon. I promise you, as I always say, be true to yourself, even while we're gone, by keeping it real, for real, and we'll see you on the next season.